Bienvenidos. Hoy te presentaremos una forma innovadora de aprender inglés que cambiará tu manera de estudiar. Esta técnica te ayudará a avanzar más rápido y con menos esfuerzo. Si te gusta este enfoque, apóyanos con un like, suscríbete y comparte tu opinión en los comentarios. Vamos allá.
The Stork and the Cunning Wolf. Once upon a time, in a forest full of tall trees and mysterious shadows, there lived a stork. He was a graceful and kind stork, who was always willing to help others. Every day, he flew over the forest, watching everything from the sky. But there was a problem. Nearby, there also lived a cunning wolf. This wolf was known for his tricks and deceptions. One day, the wolf approached the stork with a smile on his face. "Dear stork," said the wolf, "I have prepared a delicious feast. I would love for you to be my guest." The stork, who always saw the best in others, accepted the invitation without hesitation. He came to the clearing where the wolf had laid out the feast. But when he looked at the food, he noticed something strange. The wolf had served the food on flat plates. And for a stork with a long, thin beak, it was impossible to eat from such plates. The wolf, amused, began to eat while watching the stork struggling to grab some food. "Don't you like my food, stork?" he asked with feigned innocence. The stork understood the wolf's trick. But instead of getting angry, she smiled pleasantly. "It's a splendid feast, wolf," she replied. "And to thank you, I'd like to invite you to dinner in my nest tomorrow." The wolf, intrigued by the offer, accepted. The next day, the wolf arrived at the stork's nest. The aroma of the food was delicious, and the wolf was eager to eat. But when the stork served him the food, she did so in a tall, narrow vase. The stork, with its long beak, ate without any problems. But the wolf, with its short snout, couldn't reach the food inside the vase. The wolf understood what had happened. He realized that his cunning would not always lead him to what he wanted. With humility, he accepted his mistake and promised to never deceive the stork again. From that day on, the stork and the wolf became friends. But the wolf learned to be more honest and treat others with respect. And this is where I ask you, how do you treat others? Remember that, like the wolf, your actions have consequences. Treat others as you would like to be treated. So, like the stork, you will always have sincere and loyal friends. As the days passed, the friendship between the stork and the wolf grew stronger. The wolf had learned to put aside his cunning and instead began to value the wisdom of the stork. Together, they explored the forest, sharing stories and advice. One day, as they walked near a crystal-clear river, they heard a soft cry. Following the sound, they found a small mouse caught in a net. It was a trap that some hunter had left in the forest. The mouse, frightened and trembling, tried to free himself, but the net was too strong for him. The stork, with his long beak, tried to untie the knots, but the net was well secured. The wolf, with his powerful jaws, tried to break the ropes, but he was afraid of hurting the mouse. Both friends looked at the mouse, worried. But then, the stork had an idea. "Little mouse," said the stork in a calm voice, sometimes in life we need the help of others to overcome our difficulties. We can't always do it alone. The mouse, with tears in his eyes, nodded. The stork took flight and, with his keen eyesight, began searching for something in the forest. It wasn't long before he returned with a small but sharp stone in his beak. He dropped it near the wolf. The wolf immediately understood. Very carefully, he used the stone to cut through the net. Little by little, the mouse broke free. Feeling the freedom, the little mouse looked at the wolf and the stork with gratitude. "Thank you," he said in a broken voice. "I don't know what I would have done without you." The wolf smiled, feeling a warmth in his heart that he hadn't experienced before. The stork, with his usual kindness, replied, "We all need help sometimes. And when we help others, we also help ourselves." The mouse, overjoyed, invited his new friends into his home, a small burrow near the river. There, he offered them fruits and seeds in gratitude. As they shared the meal, the stork told another story, one he had learned from his grandfather. In the past, the stork began, there was an oak and a reed. The oak, proud of its strength, made fun of the reed because it bent in the wind. But one day, a great storm came. The oak, firm and rigid, was uprooted. But the reed, which had bent in the wind, survived. Sometimes being flexible and humble saves us from the storms of life. The wolf and the mouse listened attentively, understanding the lesson in that story. From that moment on, the wolf decided not only to be honest, but also to be flexible and accept the changes that life brought. And so, the story continued. The forest was full of challenges, but also of friends who supported each other. And you, who are reading this story, remember that every day is a new opportunity to be a better friend, to help others, and to learn from the lessons that life offers you. Because, in the end, we are all part of this never-ending story, where every action counts and every gesture of kindness makes the world a better place. Life in the forest continued on its course. The stork and the wolf became the mouse's best friends and spent a lot of time together. Every corner of the forest was full of laughter and new stories. However, the forest also hid secrets and challenges that the friends had yet to face. One day, while exploring a part of the forest they had never visited, they found an old, ruined tree. It was huge and its trunk was covered in moss and vines. Something about the tree seemed magical. The wolf, curious, began to inspect the place, while the stork flew around, looking for clues in the air. Suddenly, a whispering voice came from the roots of the tree. "Who dares to disturb my eternal sleep?" The mouse and the stork stopped dead in their tracks, while the wolf stood still, looking around in surprise. "We are friends of the forest," the stork replied in a firm voice, "and we have come in search of adventure." "Who are you?" "I am the guardian of the forest," said the voice, "and I have been asleep for a long time. But now that you have awakened me, I must test you. Only those with pure and brave hearts can find the true treasure of the forest." The wolf stepped forward, determined. "We accept the challenge." We want to help the forest and find that treasure. The mysterious voice gave them a series of clues. The first clue was a riddle. Where the river sings with the moon, you will find the first step to destiny. The group set off, guided by the moonlight and the song of the river. They passed places they had never seen before, fields of bright flowers and mountains covered in mist. Finally, they came to a clearing where the river reflected the moonlight in a dazzling spectacle. There, they found an old chest hidden under a rock. Inside the chest was a golden key and a note. The note read, "The key to true treasure lies in friendship and courage." The next clue is where the sun kisses the earth. Following the clue, they headed to a sunny hill, where the sun's rays gently touched the ground. There they found a second chest, covered in wild flowers. This time, the chest contained a beautiful locket and another note that read, "True treasure lies in the hearts of those who work together." The wolf, the mouse, and the stork looked at the locket and understood the message. It was not a material treasure they had found, but the friendship and courage they had shown in facing the challenge together. With their hearts full of joy, they returned to the old tree. The guardian of the forest, seeing their sincere effort and courage, appeared before them. "You have shown that you have pure and brave hearts. The real treasure is not something you can touch, but something you carry inside. The friendship and courage you have shown is the greatest treasure in the forest." Grateful and excited, the friends returned home, knowing that they had learned a valuable lesson. From that day on, the forest was an even more magical place, full of stories and adventures that they shared with everyone. Thus, the story of the wolf, the stork, and the mouse became a legend in the forest. And you, who listen to this story, remember that the real treasure in life is not always found in material things, but in the connections you make and the courage you show. Every day is an opportunity to search, to learn, and to make your life a journey full of friendship and courage. And so, as the sun sets and the forest fills with stars, the story continues. Because every sunrise brings new adventures and every sunset, new lessons. How will you continue your own story today?
Y con eso terminamos. Si te gustó este vídeo, asegúrate de suscribirte al canal. Además, te invitamos a ver el siguiente vídeo que te dejamos por aquí, para seguir mejorando tu nivel de inglés a base de práctica y repetición. Nos vemos allí.